Taylor Swift thing. So actually, before she said this, for the longest time, I lived by this little like mantra of mine. Not really mantra lah. So am I allowed to say vulgarities?
You already said shit.
No, shit's not really a vulgar. Okay.
You're going to say the F word?
Could I? Hi, welcome to another episode of Clean Your Toilet podcast. I am Marie, your host for this episode. And if you don't know about me, I'm a mom, I'm a makeup artist, I'm a former nurse, and I'm also a baker. So today we have with us Susan Chen.
Wow, thanks for having me. And what a lot of things that you do. Hi, I'm Susan Chen. Also have a few things. I am a PhD researcher. I'm an HR practitioner. Been doing that for almost 20 years. I'm a mother as well, a mother of a 5-year-old, very, very naughty little boy. And then also I now run a boutique HR strategy consulting called Co-Girl.
Co-Girl.
Yes.
That's very cool. So, shall we dive into it?
Sure,
This is the first time we're meeting, by the way.
I know.
We're going to have like speed dating and then we're going to dive deep. All right?
All right.
Okay, so let's start. So basically today our theme is about managing motherhood and basically also about choosing yourself because we wear so many hats in our everyday lives.
Yeah, we do.
It can be very overwhelming some days, especially when we are on our not so follicular phase of the month. So yeah, maybe you want to tell us more about what you do and like more in depth on your journey in motherhood. One kid?
Yes, one kid.
Yeah, I have 3.
Oh, wow.
So 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Okay. So, mine is 5.
5. Just boy?
Yeah, just a boy.
Boy.
Yes.
Nice.
5-year-old.
5-year-old.
Yes.
5-year-old is still cute at that stage.
It's a good age. It's a good age. Yeah.
They can respond to you. They have emotions and then they can actually speak in fuller sentences.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see them coming to themselves, right? And I think this is where I almost feel like you feel the sense of really deep responsibility above and beyond when they're really young. You're like, just keep them alive. I will feed them, make sure they're sleeping. I keep them alive. I feel like when they're 5, there's a much deeper sense of responsibility to say, how do I make sure I raise a good human being?
Yeah, basically raise a human that will go out into society and not be a menace.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard.
It's hard.
So
it's
hard. So
and
much
I
expectations.
Think society now makes it even harder, I feel. The expectations for parenthood, what that looks like is very different to like our parents' generation, right? And I like the saying, they expect mothers to work like they don't have kids and then work as if they don't, the
mother as if they don't have a job.
Yes.
And work as if they don't have kids. They don't have kids. They're not mothers.
It's like these expectation makes it almost, I think, really impossible.
Yeah. And not only that, I think also social media does play a part in when people put their highlight reels and you're like, wow, this mom's like so amazing. They have like makeup on all the time. And then they like have their shit together. Oh, can I say shit? Sorry. All right. So yeah, we have to PG it because we live with young kids, right? Okay.
Well, kids are not here. That's why we get to say all the words that we usually don't get to say around kids.
Okay. Cool. Yes. So maybe we dive into my first question for you, which would be like, does setting boundaries make you like a bad daughter in Asian culture or a healthier human? What do you think?
I mean, it feels like they are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, they're not.
And does it make you a healthy human? I think absolutely. And I guess the question is also the boundary. Who are you setting these boundaries for, right? Are you setting boundaries with yourself, with your kid, or with your parents, or with your extended family? So like a lot of Asians, I have a sort of a big family, the cousins. So I feel like setting boundaries depending on the relationship you have with the person setting the boundaries.
Yeah.
And that sort of shift how you feel about that boundary. Right? Yeah. Is it better for yourself when you set boundaries around what is okay to do. Having me time, for example, is a boundary. Like on Saturday morning, I try to make sure I make it to Pilates, which means that, my son has his play date. That's kind of like the boundary I said. I really want to make sure I get that Sunday morning almost as like me time.
It's yours.
Yeah. And I feel like that makes me hopefully a better human, better mother.
Of course it does.
For my kid, it feels like, oh, she's not very accessible on Saturday mornings.
They actually get used to it and they're like, no, that's mama time. And she needs her cup filled and you come back a better mom because you're like in a better mood. You're like ready to like take on all the tantrums and stuff. So I think it does makes us a better mom.
Yeah. And I think it's about being able to communicate those boundaries, right? You don't just disappear. So,
it's also needs. Yeah, needs. And then translating that into boundaries in the sense of like scheduling things and making that non-negotiables for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, I think if you look at setting boundary with your parents, I think that gets a little bit tricky.
I've got lots to say about that.
I mean, tell me about your living arrangement because I just to frame it, I think for me slightly different. We live in different countries, right? Okay, I'm not from Singapore originally, so I'm from Taiwan originally, and I grew up in New Zealand. So for those listeners who's wondering about my accent, is New Zealand, okay? Not Australian, it's New Zealand. And so they live in New Zealand.
Your parents live in New Zealand?
Yeah, my parents live in New Zealand. So I'm here with my husband and our son. So
in-laws?
No, in-laws are in America. So my husband is American. So they're in America.
You're in your little bubble here.
But that makes it harder though. Like when you meet them, the boundaries are like, you can't have boundaries. So you see them once in a while. I'm sure it's a bit different if they're a bit closer. So I don't know. What's your setting?
So my husband and I are both Singaporeans. We live in Singapore and our parents are all in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
So, but we are from very big families. So we are not the only kids. But on my side, I'm the only child with kids. So my kids are the only grandkids.
Very precious.
Very precious. And then my husband's side, he has a big family. So, but they're like tons of cousins. So when you're all like really close in age, so it's not so like it's pretty spread out. So the love is not concentrated. So that's our arrangement.
So do you see them a lot?
Yeah, we do, but it's very how do we say, like on occasions, but there's no like weekly family dinners. There's no like I don't really have that. I have support from my folks to take care of my kids when we need, but it's not like a given.
It's not a routine.
It's not a routine. It's like I make sure I have set boundaries on like how much time I want my kids to spend with them, or like, or when we need more help, and then, we give and take kind of thing, which is good. But we definitely have very, very different views on parenting.
Yeah.
So things have happened, like occurrences have happened in the past where I had to set firm boundaries with my parents, and it was not easy because I'm the only one with kids and no one else understood. And then there was no such thing as gentle parenting, and there was no such thing as like woke culture and like what is toxic behavior. Like they don't know that. To them, they're just, this is the way I love you. Just take it, the kind of thing.
What is the biggest boundary you had to set?
Like basically who's in charge. Like for me, I'm the mom, like we're the parents, we have the final say of what the kid will go, like what our kids should experience and go through, and or like what should they not have access to and stuff like that. So that was like the biggest boundary, and when there was not the respect given that it is my chance, now it's my turn to be the parent and not you. Like you had your chance, so they tried to like,
they try to be the parent?
Yeah, they try to be the parent, or like they tried to enforce their kind of their thinking and their way of doing things really like and completely disregard what I would have, like what I wanted to do, even though it could have been a mistake or like the wrong thing. But to me, that was my mistake to make, and that was my growth and my journey that I had to take so that I can grow into the mother I needed to be. Because no one gets it right. There's no manual, there's no school, there's no, nobody really kind of teaching you. Now there is. Now
true.
there is. 8 years ago there wasn't, and you kind of got to figure it out yourselves. And yeah. So, but I'm a really stubborn person. So, so it really was like, to me, that was really important to protect what was important to me and my husband, and what our shared values were as our own little nuclear family. So yeah, that was one of probably the most challenging aspects of parenthood when it came to like my own parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you find it. I also find the way they talk to kids are very different to the generation, right? I mean, the small things are like, I remember I used to have to tell them, don't baby talk to the child, right? They're not babies. They're little humans. They don't need to understand. You speak Mandarin, right?
Yeah.
Like 叠字, you know, double is like 吃饭饭, you know, I'm like, no, 你吃饭饭, you eat rice, 就吃饭.
吃饭,
Okay, for those who are listening, it's eat rice, not eat rice, right? It's kind of like you want to have a healthy conversation. With, you know, like if you can treat them a little human. But those are small things. But I remember bigger language around like what they think is okay to joke about versus what I think is okay. Like you know,
talking about their body.
Well, or like, if you don't do this, the police is going to come and get you. That type of, I'm like,
unrelated consequences.
Like, yes, exactly.
It should be natural consequences.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Like, if you don't eat your food, you'll be hungry later.
That's correct.
That's
it.
If
you don't eat your food, police is going to come get you. That, I don't know. That drives me nuts. And that's kind of like a boundary I actually had to set with my parents that made, well, not my parents, actually my mom in particular, made her feel a little bit, I think she felt judged when I say, that's not the way we should be speaking. I think she's probably like, well, you know, like now you don't even like the way I talk. You know, especially
they took it
personally. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So boundaries are hard. And maybe in those moments, I do feel like I'm a bad daughter, right? Like I don't see them that often. I come in and then we're like fighting about how to talk to our kids. But you know, we grow into it and then I think
you work through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think good, healthy communication and being really open about things is important. But I've also learned, grown up from the hot-headed person that I was, like just saying whatever I felt. And like, even though I could be right, but I've learned that there's 100 ways to say something. There could always be a better way to say things. So I've also learned to take a step back, think about it. How would this person receive it? And then tell them about it. You know what I mean? Without having to, you know, force your way through or anything like that. So I think that's the growing up I did. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think parenting is all about yourself. Parenting yourself. Not really the kids. The kids, they're just like little babies and tiny humans who have no expectations of the world, and they have no preconception of what should be and should not be. So it's actually us. Of what we want it to be and what we want it to look like. So
exactly. It's lesser about sometimes, you know, people think that we become the parent that we have been parented to versus do we become the parent that we want to be, right? Be parent by. But it's a journey.
It is. And a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma that you got to work through. And also, I think realizing that there was trauma, realizing what was happening when we grew up was definitely not normal, or should not have been normal. And
that's true.
Correcting it and even setting boundaries in our own heads. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's really not about what other people, but in yourself, like, okay, I need to prime myself. Like this is not right, or like this should be the better way of doing things, and actually consciously doing it and being in line with your partner on these values and principles that you want to establish in your family. And that takes a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you realize you have to be alignment everywhere, right? It's not just align with your parents, you're aligning with your partner and then the greater sort of family, and to a certain extent aligning with your kid to say, okay, when you do hear conflicted boundaries, how do you manage that? Yeah.
So hard. Yours is only 5. So like my 8-year-old, she's so sensitive to any like kind of discrepancies or like when it's not consistent. She'll be like, hey, but who said this, who said that, and you're like, ah, damn it. Shit.
That's
Like,
fascinating.
So you can't, like, you have to be really careful because they're listening all the time, and especially when they have siblings, I think they're really sensitive to like comparing.
Fairness.
Fair.
The
What's
perceived
fairness. Yeah. Not they don't see it as who needs what, but more like what's fair to me. Like equality, you know.
Yes.
But I think end of the day it's about how they feel. If they feel taken care of and loved, then they would perceive this fairness a little bit less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I guess with one is just he.
Are you
he
gonna
gets
have
to be
more? Just like
Well, I don't know. I'm open to it, but I also think that as I get older, it feels like it becomes a harder pursuit, both I think physically and also just doing a lot of things, building my own company, working 12, 13-hour days. I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to find time, number one, to make babies, and then to actually find time. Well, not just find time, right? Finding the right energy and the boundary to say this is a time craft. So I'm still trying to figure out,
do you want
if
me to
that's
ask
the
you?
right.
Yeah, but
that's
like,
right.
how old are you this year?
I'm 41.
Oh, you're 41.
Yes.
That would be a geriatric pregnancy.
Well, I think they tell me that when it's like 35.
Yeah, 35.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
35 this year, so.
Oh my goodness. So when I gave birth, I was already 36 and I was already like too old.
Yeah,
So-
not too old, but like riskier pregnancy. Yeah, as they would say.
Exactly. So
Okay. But
it's
you
a
look
real
great.
thing.
But you look great.
Oh, thank
So
you.
yeah. We
The
try,
body
we try.
doesn't. The body
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
lie.
Yeah,
It
the
says
body,
you
yeah.
are 41. Tick tick tick. So,
Yes.
It's
true, but you're building your own, like your professionally and then personally and then a motherhood and meshing it all up and also deciding if you want another kid. It's very daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like no one's ever ready. Do you
That's
think
true.
so?
I mean, but you have 3, which means you started fairly early. You say you're 35.
yeah. So I started at 27. 27. Actually, that's a pretty normal. Like that's a pretty okay. I personally think
Generational gap. I'm like, oh, that is
Borrow,
amazing.
come on, yeah. No, but I feel like my husband and I, when we look back now, like today, we actually had this conversation a couple of days ago. We looked at each other and we said, thank God we had kids early.
Yeah.
We look at like my best friend now who's having like a 1-year-old running around and I'm just like, wow, I can actually take a holiday with my husband without my kids. That was like unthinkable in like at least 1-2 years ago.
Yeah.
But now that we're able to do it, we're like, wow, okay, we did the work already. And then now we watch everybody else struggle.
I mean, that's the beauty of starting early,
Yeah,
right? Then
yeah.
then you have a chance to sort of enjoy the different kind of prime.
Yeah, a different prime, and also you enjoy the kids and at different levels.
Yes.
and we're still young enough. Like the other day, my husband was calculating. Oh my gosh, when our daughter is 20, he still can do high rocks with her, like because they're like young enough in a way,
Oh
like
my
young
God.
enough. So
I do my math, not so much
Not
for
so-
us. Hey, I could be a very cool grandma, okay?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but what I guess because I was thinking again a little bit of the age gap, but
Yeah.
you had your first kid at 27.
Seven.
That's when I moved to Singapore.
Oh,
I moved to Singapore when I was 26. Started my sort of next phase of my
Yeah.
international career, right? So kids is not on the table.
Yeah.
So I find it's a amazing. I don't know, courageous is the right word. I mean, for me, it's courageous, but it's this amazing sort of ability to have the clarity to say that's the right time for you.
I don't think I thought of it as the right time, but when kids come, like when you're open to it and they do come, then you're just like, all right, cool.
Let's
Like,
do it.
Let's just do it. Like you don't think about it in any other way of
Yeah.
like, like you don't want to go into a pregnancy having like second, like you can't really have second thoughts because it's already there. But you know what I mean? Like being worried about it and stuff, although it is very valid, but I would rather take it positively. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I always feel like the baby can feel everything the mom feels.
Yeah.
So I always feel it's important to be positive and happy and like grateful. So many people want kids and they can't. And then I'm here popping
With
babies.
3. Not just one, not just
Yeah.
2,
So
but
yeah.
3. Yeah. Amazing.
It's pretty cool. I feel like now looking at it, like when they're not here, I'm just like, I did a pretty good job. So yeah, I hope you feel that way too.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I enjoy being a mother. And I still think, a different age being a mother carries a different, you bring a different life experience into that motherhood.
For sure.
Right.
For
So, yeah, no, I do enjoy it. So we'll see.
We'll see. Okay. So, yeah, on the topic of what we were saying earlier about, setting boundaries with your parents and like, what's your take on like toxic family members and like, how do you manage them? Have you experienced it?
I feel like every family has one.
Like
At
a
least.
sliding scale of it,
Yeah,
right?
like there's always, so there is.
Okay.
Okay, there is. And that's a really interesting journey because so this particular uncle in our family.
It's an uncle.
It's an uncle. Somebody is going to know from a family listening. So,
that's fine.
And I, because my mom come from a big family, so I have a lot of uncles. Let's put it that way. So one of them is the toxic one. And I still remember when I was younger, I used to put up with it in the sense that, okay, everyone, there's a family trips, family visit, you do it because you have to be polite. So I used to be like, to be polite, I will deal with it, right? Yeah, accommodate it, right? But speaking of boundary, I think now as an adult, you realize, this is another saying I just heard recently is really, really hot with Taylor Swift. What she said, your energy is a luxury. It is. Everyone can afford it. This is like a big thing that's going on recently. That line. And I do feel that I think she put it really, really nicely in the sense that I felt like, my energy is a luxury. I can no longer just do that. So with a somewhat permission from my mom, I basically cut this uncle out from my life. Well, but when I say cut out, it sounded really drastic. But remember, I don't live with the family.
Which is great. Right? Makes it easier.
Exactly.
Right?
So when I say cut out, it just means like I'm not on Facebook friends with him. So he doesn't like tag me. You used to try to like tag me all kinds of weird stuff. Facebook,
very
people don't
boomer,
have boundaries. Very.
So boomer.
Like stop sending me things. We're not friends. So like with my mom's permission, because it's her brother, obviously, right? I just be like, hey, mom, I'm not engaging with him on Facebook. I'm not responding. I just want you to know I made the decision because I just don't think it's needed. I don't have energy for this, right?
And
because
you don't even need to ask for permission, guys. Don't ask for permission.
I guess this is a good point around boundary, right? I felt like I still kind of need to set the boundary around it.
I don't think you were asking your mom for permission. You were just letting her know. Just letting her know that this is what you're doing.
This is exactly what's happening. I don't want her to be blindsided if the uncle sort of like reach out to her and say, why does she not respond to any of my 10,000 pokes on Facebook? Who poke people on Facebook? By the way, one of my uncle just poked me. See? You guys are laughing. I'm telling you.
I think like some of the people listening to this don't even know what a poke is.
Oh my God.
It sounds really like rude now. You poke people on Facebook.
You poke people on Facebook, right? So so that's kind of how I have dealt with toxic family. I mean, of course, when there's big family gathering, you're still very civil, everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
I sort of...
You can hide among people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, it's fine, but I don't really try to do the one-on-ones or, that kind of stuff.
Oh, you brought up the Taylor Swift thing. So actually, before she said this, for the longest time, I lived by this little like mantra of mine. Not really mantra lah. So am I allowed to say vulgarities?
You already said shit.
No, shit's not really a vulgar. Okay.
You're going to say the F word?
Could I? Look at me asking for permission. Now I have to. Okay, so here it goes. So I always tell people like, you know what? In my life, every day, I have 10 fucks a day. Like, and how I spend my fucks are very, very important. Because 2 for my kids, my husband, the house, the work, the groceries. You know what? I've got not enough fucks to give everybody.
So I love that.
I always have to, I will prioritize and then I will say, all right. And then some days I just look, I can't find fucks. And so I literally just do not give a shit about things that I cannot afford my energy for. It's a luxury, as Tay said. So yes.
it is a luxury.
So I always tell people, just use your fucks wisely because you can't get it back. And it's your energy.
I'm not drinking wine. I'm looking. I'm like that. No pun intended.
Yeah. So, and then recently, so I started wearing the Garmin watch to track it. It was a present from my husband for my birthday. And then I recently had an encounter with an acquaintance / friend who was very energy draining. And like, she wasn't terrible, but it's just that energy draining. She's like anxiety and like a bit of unawareness. And that kind of made me a little bit stressed because of the situation I was in. And the moment that I was, that it was done, my Garmin literally told me, you had a stressful situation, minus 5% battery. I'm like, and it's like your own personal battery. I was like, oh my God, that was like one fuck.
One fuck that just got taken away.
Yeah, without my permission.
Yeah,
so I was like, so yes. So it's true. And not only that, like your body literally keeps score of what energy you give out and how much of it you put out there. Yeah. And are they worthy people of receiving your energy? So so that's my little thing.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And it gives me a good reason to say, don't give a fuck.
Maybe not out loud, but it's like,
but sometimes they might need to hear it. But coming back to speaking about motherhood, because I do think I probably really felt that most deeply once I became a mother. Yes. Actually.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
Before I'm a bit like, woohoo, you go out, you do your thing. Yeah, like a little bit much less, even though I would like to think I was self-aware enough.
Yeah, we were. But motherhood is another level.
Yeah. And I somewhat related to, again, going to energy and motherhood. I remember going back from my maternity leave. So I gave birth during COVID. That was a very interesting time.
Right?
Yeah. So very interesting time. And so we were starting to work from home, right? So, and I was working as a head of HR for a big startup, a well-known startup. And then I actually went back to work after 2 weeks of giving birth.
No way.
Because it was COVID, a lot of things were changing. And it was fine because that was not the story.
Okay.
But, I was more, explaining the context.
Okay.
So I was working from home and that was fine. It was time of change. I want to make sure during the time of change, the head of HR is still around, right?
Yeah.
So that was all good. That was fine. But I still remember, so I took part-time maternity. So it took me like 6 months to take.
So you spread it out.
Spread it out. I was doing like 4-day week. So I don't know. So it took me like 6 or 7 months to finally go back to work. And by the time I was ready to go back to work, it was like return to office. Like you have to go into the office. So I remember going to the office, and this is probably the first time I leave my kid, right? My 7 months old, like properly leave him. Went into the office, and then they were like, oh, you have a new manager. And there's someone that I know that I knew that we weren't on the same wavelength, let's put it that way. And I went in the first day, and I literally said, do I want to spend my energy and be away from my child for this relationship? Dad says no, so I quit.
Congratulations,
on the day 1.
girl.
So I think motherhood,
ball-ass move.
but like motherhood really changes how you think about boundaries,
perspective, priorities, everything.
I think so.
Like when people think that they do know before they become a mom or parent, they don't really know it. No disrespect to people who don't have kids. But that level of awareness when you have an offspring, a tiny human being you have to keep alive. It's hard. Like it's a lot more than that. The mental load itself is just another level. And then the hormones. You just gave birth, everything is a bit haywire and you're not happy with your body yet. and there's social expectations,
Yeah.
and then you have your own expectations of yourself, and then social media is showing you like the influencer that wore her skinny jeans after like a month, and then you're just
a lot of unrealistic expectations.
And then Victoria's Secret still had like hot mamas who just gave birth, and then they're like walking the runway.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It was really bad for our mental health.
Yeah.
But looking back. But I'm so glad we made it through.
Yes. Absolutely.
Job to ask. Yeah. Okay. So yes, but I love that about the toxic thing, like the boundary setting.
Yeah.
It's and I feel like younger mothers need to know that they don't need to ask for permission to do this, because not everybody has the capacity or like the mindset or like the strong character to like, no, this is it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What is your toxic family story?
Oh my god!
Talk about a toxic friend.
But, okay.
I remember the question.
Okay. Yeah. You do. Okay. My toxic.
You don't have the name and shame.
Yeah. But I think basically I kind of covered it when we're talking about like my boundaries with my parents. Because basically I also like on my end, I had very unrealistic expectations of them, because I've learned that people can only meet you as far, as deeply as they've met themselves. And when they haven't met themselves deeply or done the work to realize things and grow, they will never, ever meet you at that level and give you the same kind of reactions or expectations or like behavior that you feel it's appropriate. You know what I mean?
I love what you just said.
Yeah.
People cannot only
meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. And I heard it from somewhere. I don't take credit.
You're not taking credit. That's a great one.
Yeah,
though.
but it's good to remember it,
Yeah.
And
I love that.
realized that especially my folks, they don't have the best communication skills. And they grew up in a time whereby their own parents never gave them that kind of love and stuff. So the way they show love and concern and they do love and everything.
Yeah.
But I always give this example. My parents love me in ringgit. And I need Singapore dollars. So it's still money they give me, but I don't need that money, I need the Sing dollars to
They're
feel
like,
love.
go to the exchange booth.
Yeah, no, but that doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel you need to love the other party in the way that they can receive love the best. Like the ideal way of receiving love. If not, it's just giving up, like, you're giving me the money that I don't need. You know what I mean? Or like the love that I do not know how to receive it. So it ends up being wasted. And then there'll be the resentment, there'll be like the questions, but like, you don't love me, or why do you like this, that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like that's also the reason. But I'm also very harsh. So to me, it's like they can have the excuse saying that, oh, we didn't have all this internet, all this research, all this, gentle parenting courses, blah, 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 blah. But to me, it's like, you have a damn smartphone. You can open it up and research and do your work, do your own work. But no, obviously not. They're unable to kind of perceive that is on them. The onus is on them and not. I think somehow culturally they still expect the child to, do like the adult children to kind of parentify for certain aspects, not everything, but yeah. And do that make sense? Like,
I used to be fair, I think I used to be a lot harder and harsher to what I think about my parents' parenting until I became a parent.
Yeah.
Actually, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I realized like something I always think about is my mom had me at 27.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like, man, that was young. Now I realize, when I'm 3, she's 30. I'm like, actually, she, went through her own growth. And I think I became a little bit more compassionate to my parents and I mean, my mom in particular, to how she handles certain things, because I just have a different layer of experience as a parent.
Yeah, for sure.
sometimes I do tell myself, I mean, obviously they're going to do certain things or say certain things. You're just like, I don't understand why.
Yeah.
But then I kind of like, you know what? They're doing the best they can.
Yes,
and
with what they have.
Well, exactly.
With
What they have, what the information they have, what
Yes.
exposure they have. And then let's leave it as that. At least it allow us to move through a little bit more difficult moments.
With a bit more grace.
Yeah.
I feel like I had to learn a lot further along the line. So I think my growth wasn't like linear as well. It was like really up and downs. And, like I had postnatal depression like after my first one. And because of my nursing background, I could recognize it. I was like, shit, like why am I like PCO? Why am I PMSy all the time? And I told my husband, I said, I think I got depression. And then he was so proactive, immediately like, okay, let's get you an appointment with KK and find you things. Let's find a solution, blah, blah, blah. So that was the good thing. Yeah, that was the great part. Like, but the growth isn't linear and I had to. So what it took for me was that the realization that I was becoming my mother. And I was just like so appalled at myself because I told my best friend, if I ever become like my mother, slap me. Like, and then that reality kind of check gave me the self-awareness to like, okay, we gotta fix this. So, and then, when you're like a young mother and then you're like, you buy a house and then you're trying to grow, you like broke again and then you had a child and then, you're still trying to build yourself. So you don't have a lot of spare cash for like things like therapy, expensive therapy that's not on company dime when you're self-employed. So,
there's AI for these now.
But it's still,
I understand.
So, and then I actually went onto Google and literally typed, how do I become a better parent? Like that. That was it. And then it went down a rabbit hole and then of like gentle parenting and did a course, like a little bit of like a bit more awareness of what it was because this was like maybe 7 years ago when it was still pretty new. And finally, everything at the end of it always points to, you gotta fix yourself. Like, you gotta parent yourself. Like, so I was like, okay, crap, how do I fix myself? Google again, how do I fix myself without having to go for a therapy? Like, having to pay for therapists. And then it pointed me, like Reddit and everything. Oh, I was like...
You were down a rabbit hole.
Yes, I was. And then they pointed me to this book called How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LaPera. She's the holistic psychologist on Instagram. She's really good. And I bought her book.
What's her name again?
Dr. Nicole LaPera, the holistic psychologist on Instagram. And then basically it was a book that really helped me to understand why I am the way I am. And really like going into like the experiences and she had like reflective questions, which was really cute because like, and then I would like scribble in the book like, okay, why, what I felt, what I experienced and stuff like that. And it really explained a lot. And not only did I understand myself better, but I understand other people better because I'm like, oh, that's why they're behaving like that. You were not loved as a parent. Nobody love you, you poor thing. So like, you kind of have a bit more compassion for people after you realize why they are the way they are. I made my husband read the book and thankfully he was on the same page. So, and then he read all my little scribbles in the book so he could understand me a little bit better as well. And there was like really good chapters like on boundaries. So then he would read and I'll get very excited and then he'll be like, oh man. I was like, oh, which part? Then he'll be like, boundaries. I was like, it's a good one. And then, and then you're on the same page. So I think that was like the start of it. And then that's how I kind of really realized that I have to be more compassionate to others as well as to myself. Like you got to keep that balance and then grow from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You got to check her out. She's really good.
I will. Yeah. Sound like she's on Instagram, right?
Yeah, she's on Instagram. Yes. She does like skits and stuff. So it's really cute. Really cute. And then you really understand
check her out.
Why people are the way they are. If you were talking to a new mom, what would be your top 3 kind of like things that you advise? Besides all the like the breastfeeding, nursing, like, for her, for her to be able to grow into the woman and mother she needs to be. To set her up for success. There we go.
Wow, that's a good question. I think one thing is to say you can have it all, but just not all at the same time.
Michelle Obama. She said that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it is that reminder
yes.
that you don't have to be all the time
Yeah.
at the same time. So you can be all the things you want to be, but not all at the same time. So be able to prioritize and really, think about that. I do think, I guess we're all quoting famous woman now for this episode. But again, I really like the idea of recognizing your energy is a luxury.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you really use it wisely? How do you really think about when to give a fuck? I think that's a good reminder.
Yeah.
And I think a third one, maybe like I sort of from my own sort of learning from being more compassionate. I think one thing is more for yourself, but just going into motherhood, how can we be a bit more compassionate for those interacting with you as well, right? Like I said, being more compassionate to understand actually the parents, the journey my parents have to go through, and that gives me a whole different type of compassion. So I think access a different point of compassion is going to be important. Of course, being compassionate to yourself. But I think just accessing that compassion and being much more overt on practicing the vocabulary of emotion, I think is actually really good, because something that I've noticed as we grow up, and it's not just a parenting, I almost feel this could be for anyone, is that we are so busy. So people say, how are you doing today? You're like, you either say I'm good, or you say I'm tired, or you say I'm busy. Those are the three words that we say, right? Right. And I think how can we access more vocabulary that allows for more connection, right? So instead I'm tired, if we use words like I feel like my energy is depleted from, and being depleted give a different level of, okay, what do I need to do to fill that up?
Yeah.
Right? Versus I'm tired. Okay. Do you want to watch Netflix? I think it's just being really mindful how vocabulary language really can shift the way you interact with people around you.
Don't flush just yet. We've got an ad coming up. So, Ping, I wanted to have a chat with you about taking care of yourself and your body and your heart and your mind, because that's one of our sponsors for this round. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about how you take care of your body.
Getting a good quality sleep is one.
Okay.
I think the other thing I enjoy doing is going for massages.
Okay.
So I always have this thing around wanting to going to do some acupuncture and going to TCM, getting some tuina done.
Oh.
Because that helps to work out some of the soreness and kinks in my body.
I see. So you are frequenter of going to see TCM people and getting all this treatment done?
I do that. I wouldn't say that frequent.
I see. Because I rarely do. Yeah. So I always feel like I read about it, I think it's good or it's useful, but I never actually go and try. Yeah. So this time around, when we were sourcing for who will be our collaborators and partners this time around, it was really in my space.
Yeah.
Get chiropractic done, get TCM done, right? So then I wanted to hear from you, what was the experience like?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think I've not been to a chiropractor before.
Okay.
So then I think it's curious to find out what that is about.
I see.
Right. So I guess I'll leave it to you to share.
Okay. Yeah. So I think
that you seem to be quite excited just now talking about it.
Correct. I think I was quite lucky when one of our partners, Dr. Jenny Lee, so she's a chiropractor, and apparently she fuses. I think she has a bit of an online following as well. She talks about her practice, right, and what goes on there. So she's been very kind. She's offering us and also all our listeners a free AI posture check. Right? So I went to actually go and do some research, right? Because people offer you must always do some research. Everyone must do research. What is this AI posture check? Apparently it's an industry standard kind of application that you can use off of your iPad, you can use off of your handphone or whatever camera device, and it uses artificial intelligence to scan your body, and it can tell you what angle is off, whether your shoulder is off, your neck is off.
Okay.
I'm a bit confronted also. I don't even know whether it's something I want to know.
Okay.
But I've never gone for this kind of thing before, so I thought that would be very interesting to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are they giving us?
Yeah, so it's going to be a free AI posture check.
Okay.
What you all need to do is WhatsApp re-chiropractic at the number
9784-6310.
You hashtag posture in the message to them, and you get to claim a free AI posture check. Yeah. So go and get yourself scanned. Know whether or not you're in alignment or not.
Yeah, they're in quite a central location. I see that they're in Lavender Street.
Correct.
So easy to get to, and then learning more about,
That's right.
chiropractic work, and also how do you do some symptom relief for yourself.
Yeah. So go Google Dr. Jenny Lee as well. You should see more of her content online and her talking about her day-to-day experience as a chiropractor.
Yeah, I see that they not just provide chiropractic treatments, but they also provide you practical lifestyle advice. So I think that will go a long way in terms of, working with the kind of lifestyle we have that causes certain pains and aches.
Yes. Yeah.
That, take a while to resolve.
Now back to the rest of the episode.
And I think especially so for our spouses,
Yes.
like as much as motherhood is about us, but on the bigger picture, it's about parenting, like being on the same page as your partner. And it's the hardest thing, growing together at the same time, being on the same page so that your kids can't go behind your backs and, do the tag team thing. I think being able to communicate really, really well with your spouse is absolutely key. And maybe you want to share with us a bit of your experience in that area.
Well, I think actually that's why the third point I think is to access a different type of vocabulary.
How do you learn this vocabulary though?
It's literally learning. There's literally like word charts. Like there's like feeling charts where this literally looks like a little web.
are you?
Actually, it looks like a little web. And then it has like words that extend out.
It's a mind map. It's a mind map of words.
And then it allows you to say, okay, how do you access a deeper way to talk about feelings? So my husband is someone who doesn't really talk about feelings.
Okay.
So, and I think it was healthy for him to learn the vocabulary of that. And then it's healthy, for me to try to connect with him. And something that we have introduced. Actually, we did that before we became parent, but part of
that's great.
is that I recognize this is a gap between ourselves. So something that we do before we go to bed is always two things, right? We ask, how are you feeling today? But, you can't use all the hot words like tired, good, fine, right? You have to use and then we talk about one thing we are appreciative of the other person.
Oh, it's so basic, but it's so important.
It's basic but so important, right?
Yeah.
Because you could go through a day, realize you haven't talked to each other, or you haven't appreciated,
or haven't even given him a hug.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So that's
with the kids.
Yeah, making feelings a habit. I actually think it is a healthy way if you want to talk about connecting with your partner or what just people you care about. Actually, you can technically do that with parents if they want to play the game with you, but. That practice, I think we forget some of these require practice and their skills. So, accessing that a little bit more is important.
Do you think that your role in HR has helped,
Such a good question.
Such skills?
Oh my God.
And, because not all of us are HR experts. Clearly, I'm not one. So, but I feel like you've definitely brought professional knowledge into your everyday life. And it may seem really basic for you, but to us, it could be like, oh, damn, didn't think about it that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I would say maybe not because I'm in HR, but because I'm a coach. So I would say, and because my husband also sometimes say, do not try to coach me. I know when you're putting your coach hat on, right? Don't try to coach me. This is not a coaching moment. And even my team sometimes says, Susan, this is not a coaching moment. I just need you to make a decision. I'll be like, so walk me through how, like, no. I need you to make a decision, and this is not a coaching moment. So definitely, I think being a coach, but there are moments you can't coach yourself also out from, situations or moments that you've been stuck as well.
For sure.
But, I think you're right. I probably sometimes take it for granted of some potential techniques for connections that we do as part of, being coach.
That's true. So, I read a book a couple of years back. It's by Chris Voss. It's how to make the difference, or like how to split. Never split the difference.
Yeah.
So it's on. He say basically, in a nutshell, he's an ex-FBI hostage negotiator, and he would negotiate with like terrorists and stuff. So, and he basically wrote a book on all the techniques he would use, like weaponized, what was it? Empathy or like something like that. Like basically, like you connect with them on a very personal level.
Yeah,
to
it's,
really
it's called tactical empathy.
Tactical empathy,
Tactical
not
empathy.
weaponized. Sorry, tactical empathy. Yeah, so it's been a few years. Since
I
read about
love
it, yeah, but it
tactical
was so
empathy
good
as,
and like,
as a skill set.
yeah,
It's
and like
absolutely needed.
mirroring and all these things. They're so good. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
part of growing up is actually know how to channel tactical empathy.
Yes.
I teach that actually.
You teach that?
as part of a tool.
Okay.
For
Do your shameless
part
plug.
of
Do your shameless.
well, I do run a boutique HR strategy consulting where I work mostly with startup and scale ups as a fractional head of HR, but also an executive coach. And I think with really busy founders and business leaders,
Yeah.
a lot of these, how do they find moments to be reflective,
Yeah.
to actually think about their leadership, how that impacts the big organizations?
Yeah.
And I think, again, understanding how to use tactical empathy
Yeah.
is actually a huge part of actually
Yeah.
leadership practice
Yeah.
and skill set as well.
Leadership at home too with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yes, baby, I really understand you want the 10th chocolate,
Yeah.
but no. Not for
Yes.
tonight or
But
ever.
it's like saying no in many other ways.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
And like getting them on your team. Sometimes I like to think of it as like kind of planting it, like making people think it's their idea.
Yeah.
And then, but actually it was you who really kind of orchestrated it. Very sneaky, but I kind of like it. Like these psychology kind of techniques are so interesting because they really show how predictable and
Humans are. Yeah. Our
Like,
brain are wired in a certain way.
yeah,
right?
and like
Yeah.
men, women, slightly different, but still a lot
We're
of
all
common.
human.
Yeah,
We're all human,
Humans.
fundamentally. Yeah.
Exactly. I love that. Okay. So actually, yeah, I feel like your professional life does help, with your parenthood and everything. So
How about you? What's your 3 advice to new mothers?
Oh, my 3 advice. They change all the time because based on what I've been learning and what kind of content I've been consuming, what kind of books I'm reading. So I think the first one, okay, let me prioritize this a little bit. I always tell moms it's okay to say no.
It's a great one.
Like, no, we are not accepting visitors. You know what I mean? And stuff like,
Oh, love
And-
that one.
yeah, like people assume that you are available and, you're ready to host and everything. But no, we will not be taking visitors. No, I will not be needing that extra tapao, like you have the food that you're going to bring me. No, don't. Sometimes it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like acts of love can be not received that way. So I think saying no and also learning how to fight with your partner. Like that's key. Like I think even before you become a parent, like I think before you even think of marrying someone, you have to kind of have this really, really hard conversation. And that's what me and my husband had. Like we agreed on how to fight. So our little thing that we do is that no matter how angry we are, there are a few rules. 1, you cannot raise your voice. You cannot shout at each other. Because that's just rude.
Great rule.
Yeah,
Great
and like
rule.
you gotta like if you feel like shouting, you take a walk, take a shower, something. Just come down and then talk like a adult. And then another thing we do is we will hold hands, no matter how pissed I am at him. I'll be like, okay, and then the other person has to hold your hand too.
Wow.
Like you cannot
Wait,
reject.
in the middle of an argument?
Yeah, like
Oh, okay.
just like, when tensions are high, everything, then you just gotta hold the hand. And then you know what? That kind of reminds you that you are connected, that it's not you against each other. It's both of you against a problem or an issue or something else, And that kind of reminds you, because we humans are so attuned to touch as well. So when you connect with someone, you literally like You feel it. You feel it. And this is the person that you chose to be with. This is the person you told the world you love the most, you know? So you kind of have to like really live up to it and really like, okay, you know what? We'll get through this. And no matter how angry, like one of us has to.
Wow. Okay.
It's hard. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am wild.
You should try it.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can. You said you're hot-headed. I'm hot-headed too. Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
You should try it.
Okay.
And the more you do it, the easier it is. And you both have to realize it's not, don't be on an ego trip. Okay? Just, we are always all about, this is the issue. No blaming. We don't blame. We can talk about feelings like how you made me feel, how this, how that, what happened, break it down, debrief. But it's never like blame. There's no blame and there is connection. And you remember that it's always about solution oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also the ways to apologize. You know, there are, you can Google this, like, what is a proper apology? It's not just, I'm sorry you feel this way, that kind of thing. No, that's not a proper apology. It's like what you say, what happened, acknowledge what happened, acknowledge that that's how you made someone else feel, and also say what you would do differently in the future to avoid it, or like really acknowledge that, and then like say, I'm really sorry, like genuinely. And apparently it's really hard for a lot of people. Like I learned that, like even for my best friend, like she told me, she shared with me that it was really, really hard for her to say sorry because that was not how she was brought up in a way. Like they weren't shown what proper apology is, and like tons of these things, and we become so aware of it as we grow up. So so that cover 3.
Great.
About there. 2-ish, 2.5.
They're great though. They're really good. You said, learn to say no. Yeah. And then hold hands.
How to fight. How to
fight.
How to fight.
I heard hold hands. That was the summary of hold hands.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Oh, and just a side note. So on Instagram, I did see a few other very creative alternatives to it. So there's a couple who would fight, but they have to be really close. Their noses have to touch, and then they have to make their point. And it's really funny because how can you not laugh when someone's literally in your face and you're trying to make a point, So that, and then another couple, they were African Americans. They would put bonnets on, and then they would be like, the guy would be like, I would like to speak to HR, please. And then they would go into an entire skit of it, and then he would like request for like not needing like simple things, like funny things like, oh, can we skip gym today? And then she'd be like, what is the reason? And then he couldn't give a good enough reason, and they're like, oh, sorry, overruled, we're going. And something like that. But like they do fun things to overcome like what would normally be really difficult issues to like harder. Yeah, you make it fun. Life is
actually
hard enough.
good third final advice for like new parents, right? Like have fun. Enjoy that process.
It's hard to see it, especially when you are
in that moment.
In the moment, and not only that, like when you're hormones. Like you gotta really understand that hormones are a really big part of us all, and like the systems and everything, and with thyroid issues on the rise, I've got thyroid issues, and I never knew that I would ever be someone with kind of thing, and that affects all your hormones. And then being aware that how out of whack you are biologically, and then trying to like kind of negotiate it within yourself to not be a shitty human being, like it's really hard. So give yourself some grace, have fun, and and talk to people.
Great.
I think that's key.
I love it.
3 points.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, we're really good on time. And that was such a great conversation.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdoms and
yours too.
weaving through motherhood.
Yeah, and we're all on a journey. We're not all perfect and not all there. And
Never gonna be perfect.
And every stage is gonna be different.
Yes.
So we just gotta keep learning and being open and always, I feel, keeping ourselves up to date with the latest kind of like studies and like what, and being selective of what works for you and your family and your partner. So don't just take all the advice and like try to implement it all at once. Like maybe pick 1 or 2 and then do that. hold hands.
Experiment
Do the whole hand
and
thing.
practice.
Like fight with your hands together, like holding hands. I think that would be like a great start. Like I feel like that's a really, really good one to start
Great.
with.
So be like to the audience, if you don't remember anything from today's conversation, just hold your hands.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah. Thank you so much, Susan. That was so great.
you. Lovely to have you. Thank you.
Let's say bye.
Bye.